summary video of Dexter Resurrection Season 1. And so this is a story about Dexter after he recovers from getting shot in Iron Lake, New York. And we begin in a New York hospital, and basically Dexter finds out Harrison is in New York City and goes there. And along the way he hears about the dark passenger killer, who basically he wants to kill because he stole his name. And from this we get the Leon Prater storyline, where Ronald Schmidt was invited to Leon Prater's gatherings. So Dexter takes this chance and is in this club with numerous other killers, and he takes them out or gets them arrested one by one, bar one, the Rapunzel killer. And all this is going on while Batista's in New York and knows about the Ryan Foster killing, which is a guy who was about to do bad things and Harrison killed him. And he knows that the traits are typical of the Bay Harbor Butcher investigation from Miami. And really he knows something fishy is going on with Harrison and Dexter, because he knows Dexter is the Bay Harbor Butcher. It's pretty much concrete. And there's a big climax where Dexter's going about his life, your car, taking out killers, stuff like that. And Batista is hot on his trail and sees him with Leon Prater. Prater has found out Ronald Schmidt is actually Dexter Morgan. And Batista sees Prater in a photo with Dexter, and he goes to Prater's office and it's like, this guy's the Bay Harbor Butcher and stuff like that. And really, this is, well, I'll correct myself, he just found out that Harrison Morgan was his name, and there's kind of Foster stuff. They made up a story about Harrison in the restaurant, but then Prater does find out Dexter's the Butcher. And what I've heard a lot, and I probably agree with, is that they nerfed Angel Batista, who knows the MO of the Bay Harbor Butcher who kills killers, and he sees him with Leon Prater, and he doesn't use deductive reasoning and think Prater is also bad. So he goes in and basically we have Leon Prater has Angel Batista on the table, and I've kind of fast forwarded it, but this is the crux of the season really. And Dexter comes in and sees Batista, and Prater has a proposition that if he just kills Batista, he can have a little setup of where he can just kill all these other murderers that Prater knows throughout Earth, and have unlimited money because of Prater's financial power. But Dexter, I have this conundrum again that I've heard many times, with Leela West killing Dokes, Deborah killing LaGuerta, that really something is taken out of Dexter's hands. So basically Dexter's about to, he has the knife, he's raised it up, but then he cuts the straps and Batista is released. And really here, this is another thing you said with Batista, is that they kind of nerfed him again, and instead of strategically teaming up with Dexter in the short term to try and take out Leon Prater, he just goes and chokes Dexter, forgetting that Charlie and Prater are there, and he's choking him and his back is completely unguarded and he can just get killed. And Leon Prater kills him basically, and Dexter is just in a bit of a pickle. So Dexter is in the serial killer vault of Leon Prater, which has memorabilia from many famous sex killers and also killers that did stuff in reality that might be famous. And really he has Batista's body. Batista's last words are F you to Dexter, which is pretty strong. But really, like, I feel like we were cheated a bit with this thing. We didn't really get a proper confrontation because, again, Leon Prater just killed Batista, and we just move on. I think there's a little more meat on the bone with Batista hunting down Dexter. And really, Dexter, he is devastated because, of course, in Dexter's life, his life as the butcher is more than like being a human being. But in his police, when he's working at Miami Metro, Batista was someone he had huge respect for, and he only had a little bit of hostility towards him because he was trying to stop him butchering. But if you take away that, everyone knows that Batista is a really good guy and respected in Miami Metro and doesn't really have any beef with anyone and is just well liked by everyone. And even Dexter, who was always going on about how he's empty inside like a donut and stuff like this, but he really liked Batista, you know. And this really, as Brian Moser says, he's just making an absolute mess of everything in his life, which seems to be the way it's going. And so just a rundown of the characters is, we know Dexter, Harrison. New characters are Leon Prater, billionaire, who also is secretly just loves serial killers because his parents were killed by one in a car crash, and this killer showed no remorse, and this fascinated Prater. I began a real desire to find out everything about serial killers in his life. Charlie, who's played by Uma Thurman, and Dinklage, or Prater's played by Peter Dinklage. She is like a kind of henchwoman of Prater's, head of security, you know, former Navy SEAL, Blackwater security contractor, stuff like this. And then in the serial killer group we have Rapunzel, Eric Stone Street, Modern Family Guy. David Dastmalchian is the Gemini killers. Neil Patrick Harris has a short appearance as a tattoo collector. Kristen Ritter, Jane from Breaking Bad, is Mia LaPierre, Lady Vengeance. And then, let me think. I think that's it. And really, so Dexter takes out Lowell, tattoo collector. Then he kills one Gemini, finds out there's another, goes to him, and then he frames Mia LaPierre for killing Ryan Foster, and then Al gets away. And really, I feel like they kind of rushed through some of this, to be honest. I think, for one thing, I think they could have got maybe 2 episodes out of some of these killers rather than 1 episode they're gone, 1 episode they're gone, 1 episode they're gone, yada yada yada. And really, yeah, it did feel a wee bit rushed, to be honest. I feel like it was too rushed in a season to have the Killer Club thing, the Batista thing, and the Ryan Foster thing. I think they could have pushed that into season. I definitely think they could have Batista into season 2 and further. That's my opinion, because now, like, really, I don't know what the plan is next season in terms of the big bad. So in every season of Dexter, we either have a big bad like Ice Truck Killer, Trinity, Brain Surgeon, or we have a big bad in another sense, that they are bad in a big way because they're trying to stop our beloved Dexter. So this is your James Dokes, your Stan Liddy's, Joey Quinn for a time, LaGuerta season 7, and then Batista has now turned out to be also one of these big bads trying to take down Dexter. And really, I think they could have just kept the serial killer club for this season and have a bit of Batista, but then season 2 is where it's really Batista v Dexter, because really we didn't see that much of Batista. We only saw him at the start, and then we saw him obviously in New York a few times, but there was never entire episodes dedicated to Dexter and Batista. It was kind of like a scene here, a scene there, what's Batista doing, how is he tracking Dexter, the AirPods, stuff like this. And really, I think they could have fleshed that out a bit more. And Harrison Morgan's development is a big thing here, because he kind of has become more well liked within the fan base. And I would really I would second this because he was in popular New Blood because he was just, understandably, he was just bitter about Dexter leaving him and Hannah McCain, stuff like that. But here he's becoming more mature, more adult, and more calm. And I do like how Dexter and Harrison have a really good father-son relationship by the end of the season. And really, Dexter himself. So in New Blood, I thought, when I first started watching New Blood, it was like interesting because Dexter was saying he wasn't killing and stuff like that. But now it appears for Dexter Resurrection that Dexter is in the same mental mindset as he is in season 1. He's in basically the original season from 2006 to 2013, that he's basically just addicted to killing and he can't stop himself. I feel like Dexter's back in this mindset, and we see this thing at the end where Dexter's like, this is what you want me to be. And I think that's because really there is a section of the fan base that just will worship Dexter whatever he does, and they want him to do this, just be the butcher everywhere he goes, never get caught. It's like the Dexter fan club kind of show, which for me is enjoyable, but really sometimes I do have to say, stop being annoyed at Dexter being unrealistic, because this is fiction and the writers are going to do whatever they want to prolong the show. And really, in terms of the whole franchise, I think that so Dokes, I feel like the Dokes, Stan Liddy and Batista, I feel like, and Joey Quinn also, how none of them caught Dexter, I don't really know. I think that this is kind of getting into the realms of, we're just keeping this alive because Showtime want money. And of course, I really did enjoy the season. The quality is so high. But in terms of the whole franchise, I think it's kind of getting a little bit fan fiction-y, in that I enjoy it a lot, of course I do, because I love Dexter. But also, it's not really, it kind of feels like he's just gotten away with too many things. But that said, people that loved it, I also did really enjoy it. But in terms of the whole franchise as a whole, it does feel very different. In terms of the themes of the season, I would say it's Dexter kind of thinking, Dexter and Harrison are becoming closer, and I would say the two big events are probably, Dexter and Harrison reconciling and, teaming up against Predator, and then Batista. And in terms of Batista, I mean, if we're talking about the main characters of this franchise, it's Dexter, Deborah, Batista, I don't know, Batista, LaGuardia probably, Rita probably, in terms of people that were there for numerous seasons and were huge. Matthews maybe. Like, Batista was here since the first episode of this thing in 2006, and really, this is one that was safe with that. And I feel like it was a bit cheap because I don't really, it just felt a bit, they nerfed Angel Batista a little bit, because this is a policeman who was promoted to being the head of Miami Metro, and this shows he's really competent and sharp. But here, he just kind of lost his mind. He was just acting really rational. I think this kind of messed it up for him. And the most memorable scenes and episodes of this thing, I would say, most memorable scenes, I think obviously the one in the vault, super memorable. Also the first scene where Dexter goes to the club, and Harrison killing Ryan Foster, that was a pretty crazy scene. And definitely the scene where he kills Gemini, the first Gemini, where he's like, who's number one now. And also another note is we have this character Blessing Kamara that we're introduced to, who people were saying, oh, he's the New York Ripper, but then he wasn't. Well, we don't know, he isn't for certain, but he likely isn't, and it's just like, what does he do? Like, I know there's nice people out there in our lovely world, but like, so Blessing meets Dexter, drives him, they get chatting, and like Blessing just offers him a place and introduces him to his family. But I think Dexter just really has the gift of the gab, and really people just love him, and he's just a popular guy really. When he's just himself, he's just like normal and pretty inoffensive, and people like that. But then, yeah, the Dark Passenger thing was kind of a little bit comedic, but also this is Dexter, so we knew the second he heard this, the writer was saying this is someone that their life is going to be over quite soon. What else? So we have Wallace and Oliver. I'd say Wallace is the main detective, and then Oliver is like her teammate, partner, or whatever. They are introduced when they are investigating the Ryan Foster killing, and really they're shown to be quite sharp, but sometimes they have conflicting views about whether Lady Vengeance really killed Foster, about Harrison Morgan. And also another huge thing in the season is the oft mentioned New York Ripper, and I think it is absolutely certain he's going to be big in the coming seasons, because I think it is very strange if they just mention him umpteen times and then it's just like he doesn't exist anymore, because he's mentioned, and there's also mention of his murder weapon, this hook thing for like plumbers or whatever, and we see the name Don Frabbed in the file. Sorry, I'm yawning. In a file in Prater's office. So maybe this is him, maybe this is Malaise, but we see Olivia and Wallace see this file, and really the thing is with the New York Ripper is whether next season he will just be someone Dexter actively hunts, or whether the Ripper becomes active again, because I think there are two different ways the season goes, because one is just, and also whether this killer knows about who Dexter is, because I think that if the Ripper starts killing again, I think this would really kick the season off with a bang. But I think that if it's not, there could be some filler stuff in the beginning, and then we see him hone in on the Ripper, because I think so. There's, in terms of the entire franchise of Dexter, like, this thing has to end. I don't know how. Will he'll be in dead prison, or just be they'll just end it and he's going off, he's happy with Harrison, and I don't know whether the Ripper is going to be someone that can potentially take out Dexter, possibly. But also we have to think about, is there someone in Miami that is going to pursue Dexter in a judicial way? Like, is Quinn going to go to New York and see Batista's dead and just be like, just investigate this thing? And really I have no idea what's going to happen. Michael C. Hall had a wee clip on social media saying we're green lit, and obviously we know he's going to kill it, because he's a beast of an actor. And like, if you put Dexter in anything, he's going to kill it. Michael C. Hall is. Yeah, in terms of casting, I think that obviously our returning characters be the same, but I think I've heard people mention monster actors for the New York Ripper. Someone I heard Cody Leach say is Bryan Cranston, and I think this would be absolutely fantastic, because I watched Breaking Bad. I love the show. Bryan Cranston as a villain in Dexter would be monumental. I think this would this would take over the internet, this would take over TV, and this would be, I would love this so much. And in general, Dexter Resurrection season 1, okay, to me it feels a bit fanfiction-y, but in isolation it is a fantastic season, there's no doubt. The acting, story, setting, set design is absolutely immense, and really I did enjoy it, and lots of people did enjoy it. And I think this definitely brought Dexter back into the mindset of TV fans. People that maybe, had forgotten about Dexter, they'd see the buzz about this, but maybe they'd watch the rest of Dexter to get to this point. And I think generally, so I watched Dexter beginning September 2024. I finished it maybe December 2024, so I watched it in 3 months. And really, Dexter in general is just blowing up all over the internet. Like, people that haven't even seen Dexter, they know who James Stokes is because of the meme of, like, I know bro is doing this, says he's doing this, but I think he's doing this. And like, really, I really like the memes, and Dexter is definitely a show that I think is going to be very popular for a very, very, very long time. And thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.